Hello and welcome to this first video in a series of videos on making informed choices. I think it's really important that when we make that next step after you leave Harroway, that the decisions you make are as informed as possible. So I'm going to try and help you through a process of looking for the right colleges and the right courses for you. So I'm going to start with the basics, and I know I've taught some of you this already, but some of you haven't had me yet for careers, so this is for all of us, just to remind ourselves. So your current qualifications are GCSEs for the large majority of your qualifications. There are some what we call RSLs, so for example in dance, but they're worth the same as a GCSE, and they are all, everything you currently are doing is a level 2 qualification. So at the end of this year, you will sit exams, hopefully, fingers crossed, or you'll be awarded grades. And those grades can be anything from a U all the way to a grade 9. If you get grades that are U1, 2 or 3, we consider that a level 1 pass. Anything above grade 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, is a level 2 pass. So we're aiming ideally for those level 2 passes. Now the hope is that what we do is you pass level 2 while you're with us at Harroway. In order to do that, you must achieve at least 5 grade 4 passes. So you can also, in your RSL, so if you think about dance again, you instead of a 4 will be awarded a pass, a level 2 pass, or a distinction star, and again that moves up from level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're worth exactly the same. Now you must, or these passes must include English language and maths, not necessarily English literature, not necessarily science, but they must include English language and maths. So you need 5, including English language and maths. Once you've done that, you've passed level 2, and therefore the hope is that you move on to level 3. So like I just said, if you pass level 2, you should be moving on to level 3 qualifications. So for the majority of you, you are looking for level 3 qualifications. There are a few exceptions to that when you study at college. So for example, if you want to be a hairdresser, because you will have never done hairdressing before and because of the safety required for it, you have to start on a level 2. So it doesn't matter how good your grades are, you could get grade 9s across the board, but you have to start at a level 2. But for the vast majority of qualifications, it's level 3 that we're looking for. Now, when we start college, the big question is how many subjects should I study at college? Now, currently you're doing somewhere in between 8, 9, 10 different qualifications with us. At college, that narrows quite considerably. So it narrows, but is a wider variety of options. Now, generally speaking, you have what we call 3 buckets. The idea is you've got to fill your 3 buckets when you're at college. And I'll explain a little bit more through this video about how we do that. Now, when you get to college, you should be, again, studying level 3. And those qualifications will either be what we call an academic qualification or a vocational qualification. So those are your 2 choices. Now, you can do a mix of academic and vocational. So it's not like if I just had to go through the academic route or just have to go through the vocational route. You can have a mix of the 2. Now, some general advice. We always recommend that you pick the subjects you think you will do well in. People will judge you on how good your grades are in those subjects. So a good idea is always to think about what you're good at, what you enjoy, and that will tend to sort out some of your questions that you might have in your own head. Some of you will have a good idea of what careers you want to do. Some of you will not. It doesn't matter at this stage. So what does matter is that obviously if you do have a good idea about a career, you might need to take certain qualifications. Some of you will prefer coursework and some of you exams. Some careers require certain qualifications. So if you want to be a doctor, for example, you must take A-level chemistry. Some careers don't require specific qualifications at all. They just want good qualifications, so that you've done well in those qualifications. So let's start with the academic route. So the academic route tend to be what we call A-levels. Remember, they are level 3 qualifications. A levels tend to have exams at the end of the course. So you will study it for 2 years and then you will sit a series of exams. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4 exams at the end, and that's how you'll be awarded your grade. If you want to be a doctor, for example, you must take A-level chemistry. So some careers require certain A-levels. There is a huge variety of different A-levels. So some subjects that you'll currently study with us, so for example, chemistry, some subjects that you won't, so for example, sociology or psychology. And the good thing about academic A-levels is they tend to keep the doors open. So you can do a complete mixture of things. So you might want to decide, for example, to do geography, maths, and then English. So you've given yourself a wide variety. You'll get good qualifications in those, and therefore there's plenty of doors open to you to study different things at university. Now with A-levels, what we will do, or what you would do, is you would do 3. The majority of colleges recommend that you do 3 A-levels. So your 3 buckets are filled. There are some, and it's a few exceptions, who, if you're really doing well, so you're getting 8s and 9s across the board, you might opt for 4 A-levels. And there are some that they would require as your 4th. So for example, if you're thinking about studying further maths, they would tend to ask you to do that as your 4th A-level. So if you're struggling with it, you drop it and you keep your main 3. Now, just some words around that. So a lot of careers don't require you to have taken certain qualifications. So you could do A-levels because you like them and do well in them, but you don't need to take all the, and you also don't need to take all the same qualifications. So for example, let's say I wanted to be a nurse. It'd be advisable that you studied either biology or medical sciences as one of your options, but then you could study something like art and sociology, and as long as you do well in those subjects, that would be perfectly fine. So you can keep a wide option open. Now, in terms of BTECs or vocational qualifications, these tend to be BTECs or what we call diplomas. They tend to be more coursework based. So there's more of a focus on careers in some of those ones, but actually the big thing is about how you study. So it is more units and more coursework based. Again, you can do a wide range of subjects. So you could do 3 different BTECs. So it's not just about one particular career. What they don't do is offer certain A-levels in BTEC. So for example, you can't do BTEC biology. You could, however, do A-level business or BTEC business. So it depends on the subject you're thinking about. Now, in terms of how many buckets you're going to fill, this changes when you're starting to think about BTEC diplomas. So there are different types of BTEC diplomas. So for example, the National Extended Certificate, that's one of your buckets. So you would do 3 of those. The National Foundation Diploma is 1.5 buckets, so you would do 2 of those. A National Diploma is worth 2 buckets, so you potentially would do a National Diploma and then a National Extended Certificate, or you could do a National Diploma and an A-level, okay? Because we said, remember, you can do that mix of them. You can also do a National Extended Diploma, and that's all 3 buckets. So that would be the only course that you study while you're at college. So for example, if I wanted to go into uniform services, that's a National Extended Diploma, and that's all 3 of my buckets. So the only thing I'd study at college. Now, in terms of our local providers or our main colleges, these 5 are the main colleges that people go to. And each college has got its different strengths. So it depends very much on you as an individual. So what the best idea to start with is looking at all these colleges and looking at the types of course you want to do. So we know we've got Andover, Peter Symonds College, QMC, Sparsholt, and Basingstoke College of Technology, or BCOT. So I want to finish with, and I said this to you all pre the summer holidays, there is no one better college than another, or there's no one better course. It is about what suits you best. So you need to think very carefully about your own strengths, what you're good at, how well you are doing in school, what you want to be, and find the college and the course that suits you best.